proud of, that we live in, and can live the kind of life that we think that is best. Guide us in all the things that we do, and help us lead the right direction as examples for everybody in our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, I'll need an approval of the agenda. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Verdin and a second by Commissioner Hernandez to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0 to approve the agenda. Our first presentation will be Mr. Russell Still. And before I make my presentation, will be first presented by Keith from Severn Trent.
Thank you, Mayor Goulia, members of council, staff. About a year ago, I came to work for Severn Trent, and people have a way of entering your life and having an impact. I've known Russell for probably the shortest term of anybody in this room, but he's made quite an impression, and I knew that every day I didn't have to worry about the city of Alamogordo's water and wastewater services, that Russell was here to take care of it. Russell, you're moving on. We'd like to thank you for 7 years of service to our company, and I appreciate everything you've done for us. Thank you.
So I have to say about Alamogordo, Russell, you served us as project manager for 8 years, and we're sad to see you go. You've got big shoes to fill, and we're so thankful for your services. This is a Mayor's commendation to you, an expression of grateful acknowledgement for serving as Severn Trent project manager for the last 8 years and for offering exceptional services and care of our water and wastewater facilities. This commendation is tendered with sincere appreciation of your fellow citizens. Thank you, Russell. We have a lot of awards to give to our DPS staff, but before I'd like to turn the time over to our interim city manager, Mr. Bob Carter.
First of all, I want to thank this department. I met you 2 months ago as the interim director. I have never met a bunch of men and women that have been more dedicated to their jobs. I appreciate each one of you, the leadership that you've shown me and the service that you've given me. You've taken me in as one of your own. Anything I've asked you to do, you have done. And I thank you so much on behalf of the city for who you are, what you are, and what you can be. We will be looking for great things out of this department, both the fire and the police, and I thank you for the strides that you've made. You're to be commended. Thank you very much.
The awards that are going to these men and women here today were presented by a report from their lieutenants and sergeants that oversaw the cases. These are cases from 2011 that have been closed. And the way it will work tonight is I will call up the recommending lieutenant or sergeant, and then they will present the awards to their officers and detectives and sergeants that worked on that case. And the cases go to a review board that nominate those who are approved for the award, and finally the city manager approves the awards to be given. And first case we have is with Sergeant Henley. So Sergeant Henley is joining me here now. And this case was from December 21st, 2011. It's an auto burglary. And Sergeant Henley, I'll give you these awards to hand out. We'll need Furniture Hill and Sergeant Hildman. As you hand these awards out, I'm going to read to you the case. And as you come up, I'd like These awards are going to Hillman and Trujillo for their honorable service on this case of auto burglary, recovered stolen vehicle. And Officer Hillman responded to a woman's call from Walgreens where her purse was stolen from her car. And he advised her to cancel all her credit cards and call him if she found out that there were purchases made with her stolen credit cards. After taking her statement, he quickly broadcasted the suspect's info over the radios. Officer Trujillo used his intuition to look for the suspect at the White Sands Mall and Kmart parking lot. After locating the presumed suspect vehicle, he called in the license plate number, and sure enough, there was a stolen car from Albuquerque. Later, the earlier stated female victim contacted Hillman that somebody tried to use her credit card at the White Sands Mall, and Officer Hillman quickly broadcasted that info over the radios. After further investigation, the suspects in the stolen car were the same suspects that stole the purse from the car at the Walgreens parking lot. The purse and the contents were returned to the female victim, and the suspect was arrested for receiving or transferring a stolen vehicle, conspiracy to commit receiving or transferring a stolen vehicle, auto burglary, conspiracy to commit auto burglary, unauthorized use of financial services, larceny, and tampering with evidence. They were aided by Sergeant Denton, PSO Martin, PSO Moon, Detective Garrett, Detective Sharmick, and Detective Quinn. Is that it? Quinn? Thank you. And Under Sheriff Hunter. The Honorable Service Award is presented to Officer Trujillo and also Officer Hilderman for their excellent police work, devotion to duty, and professionalism as recommended by Lieutenant Henley through the Awards Review Board and approved by Bob Carter. Thank you. Lieutenant Henley, I need you to stay with me for a little longer. This is an officer award for Fernandez for meritorious service. So we present this Officer Fernandez. Thank you. And we have a host of officers involved in this case. We have Sergeant Denton, Officer Watts, Officer Hughes, Officer Rock, Officer Valdez, Officer Sides, Sergeant Esquero, Detective Jackson, Detective Quinn, Detective Garrett, FEO Weineman, FEO Skaggs, Officer Thompson, Officer Reynolds, Sergeant Schoolcraft, Officer Marty, Officer Moon, Marte. Thank you, Officer Marte. This was a large case that happened in just this last December. And the report was written that this letter is in recommendation for the recognition through the Awards Review Board for the Department of Public Safety and other agencies that responded to the Winner's Circle on Filipino on December 24th, the day before Christmas. At approximately 11:50 hours, CPS officers were dispatched to the area of the Winner's Circle in reference to the report of a multitude of shots fired. Officer Watts arrived on scene and radioed that several suspects were running east down an alley. Officer Fernandez also arrived and was waved down by witnesses who directed her to the northeast corner. Basically, what they found is a female victim verbalizing the name of a killer. And many officers arrived, all these that are standing with us today, and outside agencies, to include the Sheriff's Office and also Border Patrol agents. And the victims survived, and they found all the suspects, to include the handgun, within the 24-hour time period after the incident. So on Christmas Day, they're still working, and they uncovered the case. And they were charged with aggravated battery and great bodily harm assault with intent to commit a violent felony, tampering with evidence, receiving, possessing stolen property, to wit a firearm, negligent use of a deadly firearm. And I would like to commend all those that worked so selflessly on behalf of the city of Alamogordo to apprehend those, and your prompt action that helped to save the female victim that was safely removed from the scene and survived her life-threatening injuries. So thank you very much on behalf of the city.
That's okay, they're gonna catch a fire here pretty soon. They're in trouble. Both of them. You win the last one. Next, we will recommend officers as proposed by Sergeant Dusty Collins. Would Sergeant Dusty Collins please join me here now?
I don't think he's got
This is from a case on July 11th, 2012. I'm sorry, actually August 30th of 2011. The report was from this July. We are recognizing many officers with grand cordon, and as I state your name, please come up and join us for your award.
I apologize, I wasn't on the invitation, I just came to support my guys.
We're going to have Officer Munoz, Officer Guerrero, Sergeant Mahoka, Officer Hughes, Officer Pacheco, Detective Jackson, Officer Watts, Officer Dorset, Officer Experhill, Captain Iserhill, Detective Flynn, Detective Jarrett, Officer Marte, Officer Shive, Sergeant Escudero, Officer Conejero, Evidence Muleman, Lieutenant Lawrence, Officer Funk, Officer Thompson, Officer Glidden, and Officer Moon. All being recognized for grand cordon on this case. And please begin to pass these out as I raise your case. The DPS officers and the AMR medics and ultimately the ADPS detectives responded to 808th Street in reference to a shooting. The victim was transported to the hospital and was shortly thereafter pronounced deceased. A homicide investigation immediately ensued, and within 24 hours of the initial call, 3 suspects were in custody with confessions, and the firearms used in the homicide were recovered. The suspect was arrested and charged with 1 open count of murder in the first degree, shooting at or from a motor vehicle, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts of tampering with evidence and possession of a drug paraphernalia. His father, the other suspect, was arrested and charged with 1 open count of murder in the first degree, accessory to murder in the first degree, shooting at or from a motor vehicle, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts of tampering with evidence, felon in possession of a firearm, and adult probation, and parole arrest order. And the other suspect, the mother of the other suspect and wife of another, was arrested and charged with tampering of evidence. The clearing of this case was a result of the teamwork between all the investigators, responding officers, and the sheriff's office. Several search warrants were executed, including 1 served by the ATPS ERT team. The quick actions of all the officers involved in the follow-up investigation provided probable cause to charge all 3 suspects with crimes related to the homicide. The officers are involved in this case are deserving of the recognition for their outstanding work and contribution to the timely solving of this case. And it was Sergeant Collins that recommended that the officers be considered for the appropriate departmental recognition for their individual involvement, and a letter of appreciation be drafted and sent to the assisting agencies for their assistance in this case. We recognize you now for your hard work and diligence on this case. Thank you. Also, as recommended by Sergeant Collins, we are going to be recognizing the meritorious service. And as I call your name, please come up and your awards will be handed to you by Sergeant Collins. And these are meritorious service awards for Officer Mahuli, Detective Granados, Officer Thompson, Officer Marte, and Officer Woods. And this was a case, December 12th, 2011. And they were dispatched to an address on Julie in reference to a physical domestic violence dispute where the suspect armed himself with a handgun. Upon arrival, 2 females were ushered from the front porch of the residence. It was learned that Mr. McCombs had battered his wife and daughter and armed himself with a revolver. And the suspect was currently in the master bedroom of the residence with no other occupants inside. The front door and the bedroom were both standing open, and it was determined that the suspect could not leave that room without being seen by the officers. PSO McCooley began negotiations from the front door. When asked if he had a gun, the suspect responded by saying, "Come in and find out." PSO McCooley did his best at attempting to get the suspect to exit minus the weapon, but the suspect only responded in a derogatory statement. And at 23:11 hours, Dusty Collins ordered a negotiator and a response of the ADPS emergency response team as there was no progress being made. Negotiator PSO Woods responded and took over communications with the suspect several times. The suspect would appear at the door of the bedroom with a revolver pointed at his head and then retreat back into the bedroom. The ERT members arrived on scene and took over the positions of cover on the residence and with a team staged at the front door of entry if needed. Eventually, the suspect tossed the revolver in the living room. He was taken into custody. The standoff ended safely at approximately 1 hour, 29 minutes, or at 1:17 a.m. And the suspect was subsequently transported to the hospital and cleared for incarceration. The suspect was charged with 1 count of aggravated assault on a household member, 2 counts of battery on a household member, interference with telecommunications, and 1 count of neglect to use of a deadly weapon. And the suspect was subsequently incarcerated to appear in the magistrate's court on his charges. And Sergeant Carlins has requested that the officers be considered for the appropriate departmental recognition on this case. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. We'll move into our consent agenda. And there'll be no roll call vote required for this consent agenda. There's no ordinance or resolution on this consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Items 6 and 7 on the consent agenda are roll call votes, so we'll need one. Are there any items for the consent agenda that members of the commission would like to remove at this time for the discussion? Commissioner Martin? Move item E. Are there any other items the commission would like to remove for further discussion?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda items number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Hernandez and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Cole that we approve items 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Roll call vote will be required. Will clerk please call the roll?
Ed Cole.
Aye.
Al Hernandez.
Aye.
Nadia Sykes. Aye. Robert Rentschler. Josh Reardon.
Aye.
Jason Baldwin. Susie Galea.
Aye. Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0 to approve the items 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 on the consent agenda. We will first discuss item number 8 as removed from the consent agenda. That item is approved the agreement with the Chamber of Commerce for facility maintenance, overhead, and operational expenses of the Aubrey L. Dunn Senior Visitor Center for tourism promotion in the amount of $25,000. And this item was added by City Attorney Stephen Tees. Commissioner Reardon, would you like to begin the discussion?
Yeah, I just was wondering on this. I know we give them $30,000 a year, I think, to the Chamber of Commerce. We give them $25,000. We give them basically free rent on the building. We do a lot of maintenance on the building. I just kind of want to get my hands around how much we actually give it. You know what I mean? And what the benefit to the community is for what we give it. You know what I mean? That's kind of why I pulled it.
Would you like to do cost analysis? Is that what?
Kind of along those lines. I was reading through this agreement for what they're supposed to supply. And I do know we did our quality of bond, our quality life bond issue, the refinance that we did, and there was $100,000 allocated in that bond issue, or that loan, whatever it was, to do some repair work and various things down there. So, I mean, we gave them $100,000 there. We've got $25,000 here. I know we do $30,000. Like I say plus the rent, and I do know that city staff does do some maintenance on that building. So I just kind of like to, I don't know if we want to table this till next meeting, so we get a little more detail. I'd just like to know where the money's being spent, more or less. You know what I mean? And I've never, you know, we've seen them for Octech, but we've never seen a profit and loss for the Chamber of Commerce of where the money we've given over the years has been spent. Or I never have personally seen it.
Ms. Stevens, would you like to address the commission?
Good evening. I'm Lenora Stevens, Alamogordo Chamber. I do want to let you know, thank you, Commissioner Reardon. The other contract is for $26,000. I just want to do a little notation on the correction on that amount. As other information that I have already submitted to Mayor Galea, we do have for our visitor center in helping promote tourism and encourage tourism to visit our community, which will in turn turn our visitors into patrons visiting other locations throughout our town. Our tourism for people that come through the Aubrey Dunn Visitor Center, in 2012, 2013, we've already had over 3,800 people through that visitor center. And in 2011, 2012, we had over 9,100. There's staff that we pay for weekend staff, Saturday and Sunday, and that is all day as per agreement in the city contract. And the rest of Monday through Friday, we have a various 18 volunteers. When our volunteers are unable to attend, that is becomes our responsibility, a staff of 4 at the chamber, to facilitate and run the visitor center. So that is part of our responsibility to make sure that that is kept open. We do only close 3 days a year. So we are closed only, the visitor center is only closed Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, and New Year's Day. We consistently maintain a full amount of collateral in the visitor center to always be able to provide information to our visitors that come through. That also includes what we call goodie bags, but we provide information in bags for local businesses that may be bringing in tourists, and such as Elks Club or Eagles, if they're having any kind of gathering. We also attend legislative conferences that also pulls stuff up to Santa Fe to encourage tourism again, and that it all comes back through the visitor center.
Thank you. I did provide the commissioner that email. I'm supposed to say did receive it in time, but I forwarded it to them with the statements that you just made. Thank you for reminding us.
And I know Commissioner Reardon, you did mention also that profit and loss information is not been provided. We do, when we invoice the city for a quarter close, we invoice for, we would be invoicing in October for the first quarter close, and a P&L statement is attached to that when that is sent to, for the promotion board and for the visitor center. So there is profit and loss information available. And just doing a real quick calculation, where for the last fiscal year, just in facility maintenance, that is not including our chamber staff payroll, but just weekend staff and regular operating expenses, we are over $27,000 for the fiscal year. And like I say, that doesn't include absolutely everything, but I do have documentation.
Facility maintenance, what does that entail? I mean, you mean set employees, or you know what I mean? Is that what you mean by facility maintenance? They manage the facility, or
utilities. It's going to include janitorial services, the salaries for our weekend staff, carpet maintenance, all of the utility payments, the office supplies to maintain, and the visitor center to be able to provide information to our visitors that come through. And I do have, like I say, I do have the profit and loss statements. Those should already be on file with the city, but I'm happy to provide that other information as needed.
I have a quick question about the profit and loss. Because as you know, the building is virtually rent-free. If we were to rent the building about 9,000 square feet and $6 per square foot, that's about $54,000 a year the city does not profit from. And not only does the city contribute to the chamber, but also the county contribute to the chamber and other entities as well as promotional board. And so I think it would benefit the commission to see maybe a profit loss, maybe to do a cost analysis to see that it would be beneficial to provide this additional $25,000 for use of the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the commission?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 8 on the consent agenda, please.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Baldwin to approve item number 8. Is there?
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a second by Commissioner Sykes. Is there any other discussion prior to voting? All those in favor of approving item 8 to approve the agreement for the Chamber of Commerce for facility maintenance in the amount of $25,000, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Nay. Motion has passed 3 to 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will get some profit loss information. Thank you.
We'll move on to our new items of business. To consider an act upon a variance for Jason and Carolina Molia, located at 2902 Hopi Trail, and that's Mr. Mark South of City Council will address us on this item.
Mayor, City Manager, honorable members. This is a request for a variance at 2902 Hopi Trail. It's a variance requested in connection with the rear yard setback. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend approval, and staff is letting it proceed without recommendation. The reason for that is very simple. As you all well know, now there are 3 criteria in the ordinance for approving the variance, and this does not fulfill the 3 criteria. Therefore, we as staff cannot recommend approval. However, we don't really see a serious objection to this also, as I walk through this real quickly on time. This is the general area involved. This is Thunder Road, North Scenic. The Sun Streets are down here, and these are the streets and sort of trails. Focusing a little closer, the lot in question is 2902, which is right here on the edge of the lollipop. And one of the key things to note in connection with this variance is the drainage ditch that runs behind it. Get back to that in a moment. Didn't come out real well. This circle is the area within which letters were mailed. There were roughly 20 letters that went out. We got one response, and it was positive. It was in full support of proceeding with this request. Now, this is the house. This is how it sits on the lot, and this is what's triggering the variance. At the moment, there's a patio back there. And Fumarolas, who own the house, want to enclose the patio. The issue is the required distance to the back of the lot, which is here, basically runs right, close enough to right through the middle of the patio is matters. However, I mean, the purpose of backyard setback, rear yard setbacks and rear yard distance requirements is to keep houses from bunching up on each other. Well, it would be tough for this one to bunch up because this is a 20-foot alley easement. Behind that 20-foot alley easement, as you saw, there's a drainage ditch, which is about just eyeballing it is a good another at least 80 feet across. So from behind this lot to the next rear lot line is at a minimum 100 feet, and probably a little wider than that. We didn't actually go out and measure it, but it's in that range. And as I said, if you look, and this is in your package as well, this is what it looks like now. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. It's a sunroom. There aren't going to be utilities running out to it. It's strictly a place to sit in the sun, catch the sun earlier in the day, have a warm place to sit and read the paper or have a cup of coffee, whatever. For these reasons, particularly because of the distance behind the lot on the house, staff was comfortable. I mean, as I said, we can't recommend it because of the way I read the legal requirements for a variance, but we're certainly not prepared to stand here and oppose it either.
In looking at this and the fact that the letters were sent out, we only got one positive, nothing negative back, that's correct?
That's
I recommend we approve the variance of 29 to the public.
I'll second the motion with discussion.
Thank you. Okay, let me go forward first. I have a motion by Commissioner Rentler and a second by Commissioner Reardon that we approve it with, will be further discussion.
Yeah, just discussion, just a comment. Mark, when you look at this, if you were like hovering over the top of this house, does it change the overall footprint of the house by closing that patio? I mean, is the patio already covered with a roof?
The patio already has a roof over it, yes. If you were looking at it from the top, you would not see a difference.
Okay, I don't understand why we're even really discussing this. If we're not changing the outside footprint of the house, if the roof is already there, there's small.
It has to do with the difference between a roofed over patio and an enclosed room.
All right, well, I second the motion.
All those in favor of approving the variance on 2902 Hopi, as motioned, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0 to approve this variance. I'm sorry. Next, we'll move on to item number 11. We are to consider and act upon a request by the Otero County Electric Cooperative on behalf of David and Joyce Macon for an electric line easement. And this was submitted by our city attorney, Stephen Teese. Does anyone have any questions on the background about this information?
And I move that we approve the easement.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Hernandez that we approve the easement. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Reardon. Are there any members that would like to discuss the item prior to voting? Thank you. All those in favor of approving the easement, I'll say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0 to approve the easement for David and Joyce Macon for the electric line. And item number 12 is ordinance number 1423 for PTO. To consider and act upon the first publication of ordinance 1423 amending the section of 14-050 of the personnel manual for paid time off. And Katie Joslin will address the commission here.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is Katie Joslin. I'm the HR manager for the city. I'm here this evening to present a change to our personnel manual. It's to accommodate our new timekeeping system. The current verbiage in the manual states that PTO hours cannot be taken in increments less than 15 minutes. I believe that text was in there in the past and put in there based on our previous practice to round the time on the time clock to 15-minute increments. Our new timekeeping system records time by the minute. So there are instances where we need to take less than a 15-minute amount of PTO. We want to remove that piece from the manual. And something we want to add to that section of the manual in the PTO is a section defining unauthorized leave. And the purpose of this section is, I think previously it was kind of thought that if an employee came in late, that we were obligated to give them their 40 hours for the week. This affords supervisors the opportunity to manage their employees' time and deal with employees that habitually come in late and that kind of thing. So this gives them authority to manage their people. And that's what this piece that we're adding in this manual affords them to do.
Are there any questions?
Motion we approve.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Reardon that we approve the ordinance 1423. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Commissioner Hernandez. Is there any other questions or comments at this time? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Thank you. Motion has passed to approve ordinance 1423, amending section 14-050. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to item number 13. And that is a consider and act upon the first publication of ordinance 1425, an amendment to ordinance number 1370 related to the Water Project Fund Loan Grant, Water Trust Board 80, with the New Mexico Water Trust Board and the New Mexico Finance Authority.
Madam Mayor, Commission members, this is in regards to the project that we were talking about at the work session. This is the well transmission supply line, project 80, and basically what we're requesting is the approval of the first publication in order for us to modify the language of the ordinance, and because basically it's just the issue about raw water, changing the terminology from potable water to raw water, because that's what the transmission line is. And also, the scope of the project has evolved a little bit. Specifically, the Bureau of Land Management, the project was originally the Bureau of Land Management. Now it's being moved to the land on the Bill Road around that area.
Are there any questions at this time? I will entertain a motion to approve. Thank you. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ed Cole. Is there a second? Thank you. I have a second by Commissioner Rentschler to approve ordinance number 1370 related to the WGB 80. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Thank you. Motion is passed 7-0. Thank you. We'll move on to item number 14. To consider and act upon the first publication of ordinance 1426, amendment to ordinance number 1272 related to the drinking water state revolving fund loan grant, also known as 1674-DW, with the New Mexico Finance Authority. And our finance director is not here. City Manager, who would address this for this item? Brian Cedar, would you please address the commission for this item? This is in regards to that 1.8 million.
Mayor, members of the commission, Brian Caesar, Utilities Director. The item you have before you tonight, well, actually I don't have the agenda item in front of me. This drinking water loan, originally was used for the first phase of our West Side project. What we're asking for the Water Trust Board is to take the remaining balance of this loan and move it forward. So that we're able to use this for a continuation of our desalinization project. We have to do this by ordinance. Just as you did for WPA loan, it's the same process for this loan.
Are there any questions at this time? And would entertain a motion?
Entertain we approve ordinance interpretation 1426.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Rentschler and a second by Commissioner Reardon to approve publication ordinance 1426 for its first publication. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0. Next, we'll move on to item number 15, and this is a resolution to consider and act upon resolution 2012-37 requiring that sidewalks be repaired, improved, or constructed within the project limits on South Florida Avenue from Santa Cruz Drive to Panorama. And the staff recommend that we table this item indefinitely until they come back to us in the future with a redraft of the sidewalk loan program. Would you like to address the commission at this time?
Madam Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, we discussed this last meeting, and it was tabled so we could come back with the engineer's recommendation as required by ordinance. And we also decided to address some issues with the sidewalk loan program to make it more available or widely available for folks in the city who are going to fall under this regulation to install sidewalk. At this time, I don't have the engineer's recommendation yet, and we'd also like to present this concurrently with changes to the sidewalk loan program. So if there are any properties in that resolution that we go forth with, the sidewalk loan program will be available to them at that same time. So we'd like that tabled indefinitely so we can present both of them to you at the same time.
Are there any questions on this item?
I'll make a motion.
you motioning to
For
table?
tabled, right.
Definitely, okay.
Right.
I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem and Cole to table this item indefinitely, and a second by Commissioner Reardon. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0 to table this item indefinitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have item number 16, to consider and act upon resolution 2012-39 related to the rates of the convenience center, and this will be a roll call vote. And Brian Caesar will address us.
Mayor, members of the commission, Brian Caesar, Utilities Director. This was brought to you at our last meeting. The commission requested some changes to the resolution regarding the convenience center. We tried to incorporate all various comments in a format that would be easy to change tonight if there are any changes that are desired. If you go past the agenda report to the actual resolution, this has been modified, a little easier to read. Item number 1, all water utility accounts billed by the city of Elmwood will include a $2 convenience center surcharge. And number 2, any person or entity who maintains a water utility account in the city of Elmwood is permitted to dispose of up to 2,000 pounds of acceptable solid waste per month in the convenience center at no charge. The charge for waste in excess of 2,000 pounds per month shall be $2 per 100 pounds. Scrap metal and appliances may be disposed of at no charge. Non-commercial residential yard waste and coolant may be disposed of at no charge until October 21st, 2013, at which time such waste shall count towards the monthly 2,000 pounds. Or any owner of residential property who receives an abatement notice from the Allen Board of Code Enforcement Department will be permitted to bring the waste that is required to be removed from the property in order to comply with relevant city code. Convenience center at no charge upon obtaining the permit from the city manager or his designee, provided the waste is acceptable by the convenience center. And the last item, non-residents of the city, whether commercial or individuals, will be charged at a rate of $2 per 100 pounds of waste. So we did try and incorporate all the various comments from the last meeting.
Any questions at this time? Commissioner Reardon? Commissioner Hernandez?
Item number 3. So we're gonna extend this until 2013, and at that time,
The last commission meeting, I believe it was the mayor that asked, could there be a sunset clause inserted into the resolution? So we picked a date, a year from today, as the date, that can be easily changed if the commission desires, or taken out for that matter. We want that to continue indefinitely.
see what it does.
Right, the reason was I was afraid we'd be supplementing and actually sending extra revenues or supplementing more with the increments of disposal. Commissioner Reardon?
Okay. Brian, on this one, I would like the commission to look at, we've been on this cleanup out in Gordo Cake. We were on that right before when the last administration was here, me, Robert, and Ed. And now that the new administration's on here, we've kind of been on that. And we kind of contradict ourselves. Clean up your community, clean up your property. You haul it to our convenience center, but when you get there, we want to charge you $2 per 100 pounds to dump it over and above your deal, And I really feel, I don't know how the rest of you guys feel, but I feel that, we charge $2 for every water bill billed. And I think we ought to look at working in conjunction with the county and setting up one, or making this just free. It's not free in essence, because we charge the $2 fee, but making it no charge out there, making it very, very simple and very convenient. Convenient for the users, convenient, simple for the staff, and just kind of do away with a lot of this stuff. Just say, hey, you know what? You have trash, bring it out here, put it in our dumpsters, and we'll make sure it's put where it needs to be put. And that's kind of where I would like to go with it. This is a good start, with the tree limbs and stuff. But I'm tired of getting phone calls from people, and they're not near as much as they used to be, but I've had a few recently. People being turned away still. And I would really just, I don't know, like I said, me and Robert, I think, in the last few years have really beat the convenience center into submission, I guess you could say. But I'd like to take it a little further, make it a little more convenient. And, so that's just where I'm at. I don't know what the feeling of the rest of the commission is.
I certainly would like to see us cut out the sunset time on the limbs plan. And I'm kind of concerned about the residential property. You know, right now, anybody that's resident out in the world can take 24,000 pounds of trash annually. If you generate 24,000 pounds worth of, I don't know, yard debris, I don't know what kind of other trash you take out there, or more. Seems like it'd be tough to get above that. And maybe what we need to be looking at is maybe take that 24,000 pounds and say, you can dump this annually, no matter whether you do it in a month or you do it in a year, you know, and try to avoid some of this problem. And I believe the biggest problem is people that show up there to dump their trash, we don't want to turn them away. Because they're going to drive right out Lavelle there and hang the first convenience right, they see you back in behind your company. You know, whatever it is. And that's, you know, or they got to go clear up to the county, in which case, you know, a lot of people still, you know, it's been hard to get the city to really embrace the convenience center and still see out on North Scenic and North Florida. You'll see limbs and debris that they're taking their yard debris from the city out to Bubba's, out to the convenience center out there. You know, there's got to be an easier way that we actually, you know, let people take that stuff. We certainly don't want to turn anybody away that shows up because we know it ends up protected.
I agree with Commissioner Rancher, the 24,000 pounds that it be allowed to be over the year's time and not certainly increments or pounds per month. I think that would be fair. Yes, Commissioner Hernandez.
That's one of the reasons that I think we went with item number 4 because, and I agree with you, because that's one of the things that I asked for is why couldn't we do 24,000 pounds on one whack? And the answer was that I got, and it sounds logical, is that 24,000 pounds for water meter address. Okay, so if that person moves and takes his junk to another address, or he dumps 24,000 pounds and the first month he's at that house, the next person that rents that house instead of the same meter. And it's hard, it's a little tough to track.
Yeah, but I think it's reasonable.
And I think it is too.
We just got to be easy. We got to do.
Well, I think item number 4 covers that though, because most people that have 24,000 pounds of waste are probably going to get cited. That citation will take care of that 24,000 pounds.
We did meet earlier today on that issue, the 2,000 pounds per month versus 24,000 pounds annually. The way that the system that we track the user is by their account, by their name, and that should not be an issue with you've lived in the house for 6 months, now you've sold it, the person's moved in, and the last person used 24,000 pounds, so you can't use any more this year. Since our system is set up by the user, that should not be an issue. So that's what the commission desires. That's an easy change, and as staff, we've already worked with that, and we can work with that change.
I would like to discuss for those that don't have a method to haul trash to the dump or the convenience center. What can we do for curbside? A lot of the homes I look at that maybe are in violation of code enforcement, they have cars.
We actually already have that through Southwest Disposal.
Okay.
At no charge to the homeowner. Now they would have to schedule that service, but we do provide, or actually Southwest Disposal provides curbside pickup. Now they won't go into the resident's backyard and haul out the material. It does need to be put out and placed. Southwest Disposal will give them the details on where it needs to be placed, how it needs to be bundled. But they will schedule it and come out and pick up the material.
Mayor, I've used that service myself before. It worked reasonably well. I mean, they're always there within a week. They'll give you a day to be there and draw time.
Okay, that's great to know.
One more little piece to add to this. I would also like staff, you know, what we're doing sounds like it's going to work. It gets better and improved, but we really ought to look at working with Otero County and Tularosa. I know Tularosa and Otero County have been working together for the last 7-8 months, trying to set up a regional hub area where it all comes into one area, and then they recycle what they can recycle, pull that out, and then the rest of it either goes into the hole out there if it's clean bill, or gets loaded in dumpsters and transported out to the landfill. You know, and you know, us, we have a little bitty chipper machine out there, and it takes us a week, the county can do in a day what it takes us 3 months to do, because they have a very large machine. And we ought to look at utilizing, you know, what they have versus what we have, and kind of do a joint effort, you know, and maybe save a little money on both sides. You know, if we could take our tree limbs out to them and have them chipped for us, you know, we could say, hey, we'll let our county residents and city residents dump their limbs at our facility. We'll transport them to the county, they'll chip them up, and then the mulch that's left is free to whoever would like it or for whatever purpose. You know, the biomass, for it, they can use it for that. Because there's a very large pile of it. And I know we have some issues with stockpiling limbs and chippings and stuff like that because of the fire we had a number of years back. But, you know, it's kind of a, you know, the county stockpiles it, but why can't we? You know what I mean? We're told we can't do it, but they do it. And I would think we'd all have to follow the same rules, so.
Yes, I did talk to their director today for solid waste in the county, Ralph Murphy, and we will be getting together, and Brian and I plan on meeting with him to see what we might be able to come up and try to make some recommendations and see if that's not possible. Commissioner Reardon, we are already looking at that.
Commissioner Ranger?
One thing I'd like to say, you're talking about transporting our limbs and stuff to the county, that seems kind of cost prohibitive, and I don't know if they couldn't bring their reminder to us, you know, so we can.
It's full. But we will.
As this resolution is, are there any changes that anyone would like to see made? Yes, Commissioner Hernandez?
That was gonna be my question. Can we change that number from 2,000 pounds a month to 24,000 pounds a year without going? Okay, then I would make a motion that we approve resolution number 2012-39 with a single change that we change the wording from 2,000 pounds a month to 24,000 pounds a year.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Hernandez. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a second by Commissioner Reardon that we approve resolution 2012-39 with the amendment that the item number 3 would be changed from 2,000 pounds monthly to 24,000 pounds annually. This will require a roll call vote. Are there any other items of discussion before voting?
I would like to see the sunset clause moved from to be on 2013.
We have amendment to the motion by Commissioner Reardon, Commissioner Rechler to amend that there not be a sunset clause. Is there a second in the motion?
A second.
Thank you. If there's a second to the motion, Commissioner Hernandez. So we first will vote on the amendment that we amend the sunset clause that there not be one, and also we will vote on the first motion that we approve the resolution pending the amendment to the 2,000 pound monthly limit to 24,000 annually. Now this will require a roll call vote. First, Renee Khan, will you call the roll, and we'll first vote on the amendment and then the first motion?
Okay, for the amendment, Ed Cole.
Aye.
Al Hernandez.
Aye.
Nadia Sykes. Aye. Robert Rentschler.
Aye.
Josh Reardon.
Aye.
Jason Baldwin.
Aye.
Susie Galea.
Aye. Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0. Next we'll vote on the original motion on the floor.
Ed Cole.
Could you read that motion again?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, the motion is to approve resolution 2012-39, and with that motion, we are also approving that the item number 3, the wording will be changed from a 2,000 pound monthly limit to a 24,000 pound annual limit.
Aye.
Al Hernandez.
Aye.
Nadia Sykes. Aye. Robert Rentschler.
Aye.
Josh Reardon.
Aye.
Jason Baldwin.
Aye.
Susie Galea.
Aye. Thank you. Motion has passed 7-0 to approve the resolution. Pending the amendments. Next we'll move on to item number 17, the appointments to boards and committees. I will be making several appointments tonight. First, to our Public Library Board, I will be appointing Ashley Valadez. And second, to our Community Development Advisory Committee, I will be appointing Mrs. Gloria Vaughn. And we also, to state the openings, which will not be filled because there are vacancies and no nominations. There are vacancies on the Airport Zoning Board, Memorial Disability Council, Community Development Advisory Committee, Parks and Recreation, and also the Senior Volunteer Program Advisory Council. And if there are no other boards or committees to make appointments to, we'll move on to our unscheduled communications. If there are any members of the audience that would like to address the commission at this time, they may do so. You have about 3 to 5 minutes to address the commission if you'd like to do so. Yes, please come forward and please state your name for the record.
Thank you, Paul Sanchez, citizen Alamogordo. Last session, I asked if there was going to be, if there was a way for us to consider putting some school zone lights up on Cuba in front of the high school. I haven't heard back on that, and I was wondering if we had made any progress, if there was any information in that regard.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brian Caesar, would you please address the commission with an update?
Mayor, members of the commission, I did speak with Vance Lee, who's the Director of Support Services for the Alamogordo Public Schools, who has spoken with the superintendent of the schools regarding Mr. Sanchez's request. Right now, they did email me back. They are looking at the costs associated with materials for the lighting. They're also still considering a request from approximately a year ago from another citizen that was requesting the removal of the lights on First Street from roughly Cuba to Alaska. What they have done in the area of the high school is they do have crossing guards for the students there. And recently they have brought in some portable 15-mile-an-hour speed limit signs that have been set up in the roadways as you come off of Cuba or as you pass 7th Street. But the ball is really in the school system's court at this point. The city, if the school system does request it, we will go in and install a lighted school zone. It would be at the school's expense. And then they would take over the maintenance and obviously the electrical costs of the lighting intersection, of the schools, lighted school zone.
Commissioner Renshaw?
This really is a school board question, is it not? I mean, is this?
Right. Yes,
this can't come from us, it's got to come from the school board.
No, it does need to come from the school board. But I did pass on what was brought at the last commission meeting. And what I received afterwards, they are considering it, they're looking at costs. If they are interested, they will be back in contact with the city for us to move forward with this question.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the audience that would like to address the commission at this time? Okay, we will move forward on to our city manager's report.
I have very little tonight. I have very workshop this afternoon. One other thing that I do have, though, is I'd like to invite the commission to attend and others that want to. We will have an ethics class on November the 13th and November the 15th for the entire police department and fire department and any other citizens that would like to go. We have to have your name. We'll be meeting in the basement of the First National Bank that day from 5 to 8, from 8 to 5. And if I can get your name, we will put you on the list where you can attend that meeting with us. And it will be just one day, either the 13th or the 15th, but we will alter it both days. And any commission would like to come, attend, welcome. We are trying to move forward with some of the things in the department that we've been really going to do. That's all I have.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear who that class was for. I thought you said police department?
Police and fire and anybody else that wants to come. We just have to have your name so that we can put it on the list where they'll let you into the building.
Are there any other items? Well, thank you also for that work session. It was very detailed and we appreciate it. Now we'll move on to the remarks and inquiries from our city commission. Are there any members of the commission that would like to make a comment or question this time? Yes, Mayor Burton?
John, I know you were in the newspaper, and I believe in the newspaper. I read your newspaper thoroughly every day.
This evening I'm going to resign from the commission effective immediately. I really need to. I have been, like some of the federal government elected officials, fighting dementia for about 5 years. Just getting to the point where I can handle certain things. If you don't put it in the paper, I'm gonna stop. Are you taking notes?
Yeah.
I'll stop. I'm gonna resign from the commission tonight due to the illness I have that is taking its toll on my health. Commissioners, I have enjoyed working with each of you for 10 years I've been on the commission. I would like to say credit to my wife of 54 years. Every day she would get up and make a list for me before I would go out for the things I was supposed to do at approximate time. I have to give her a lot of credit as I fought this battle. I give her that credit. But it's getting to a point I cannot serve the city the way I think I should serve the city. Every one of you commissioners are outstanding people and do a good job on behalf of the city. Those before me, and I'll probably be all those that come. Our staff of this community, of our city government, is outstanding. And they can tell you how often I come in to test them professionally before I come to a commission meeting, because I study every item. And I suppose at times they get tired when they see me walk in. But they are always ready. So as I stop. That's it. Thanks.
Diligent, heartful service that we've given to the city as a commissioner, and please invite Sarah to come too. We'd like to make a presentation to your wife, Sarah, who, as you noted, served you in your capacity as a commissioner to serve us. And I'm so thankful for your service, and it was a heavy part that I received your resignation from the commission. Thank you. Are there any members of the commission that would like to make a comment or a question at this time? That we adjourn.
So,
I have a motion by Commissioner Hernandez and a second by Commissioner Reardon that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye.